This is Into the Fire. This is a very special interview for me. It's been a year since my pa passed away. We were really close, and today I get to interview my pa's all-time favourite footballer, Roger, Norwood's greatest ever half-forward flanker, Woodcock. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Liam. It's lovely to meet you. Nice to be here.
Whenever I would talk to my pa about footy, nearly every time he would mention you. He even had a signed photo of you.
Has he? Oh, I wish I could have had the opportunity to meet your grandpa. It would have been good.
Yeah. Well, Roger, I watched a lot of your highlights of you lately. You started in the black and white and finished in the red and blue. I don't mean port, Roger. The videos were actually in black and white.
I think that just means I'm old, Liam. Yes, you're right. I started in the 1970 when TV was in black and white, and in the mid-70s it changed to colour. So, very good observation, Liam.
Thank you. So, you played for your whole career with one club, the Norwood Football Club.
Yes.
Back in the days when the AFL didn't exist, you played 267 games and scored a massive 602 goals, the highest goal scorer in the SANFL for anyone other than a full forward. That's impressive, but you never played state. How and why?
You might have to ask the state selectors at that time. I was in the state squad a couple of times, Liam, but they decided to go for a lot of sentiment, and they tend to put them on a half-forward flank or a half-back flank or ruck rover. That was the day back then. That they didn't actually choose specialist half-forward flankers, but that's just the way it was back then.
Yeah. You were a highly accurate left footer. People called you poetry in motion. I read it was like you moved on air. How am I doing with pumping you up?
You're certainly doing a good job, Liam. Yeah, I was a left footer, but I couldn't kick with my other foot though. I didn't have too many kicks with the other foot because I used to swing on a big arc and run away from the backman and then kick the goals.
Yeah. I heard you were the trick shot master. It's true, isn't it, that you used to play trick shots with anyone after training for money. Does Neil Craig still owe you $3.20?
You've done your good homework, mate. I think that's my son's been telling you that, I think. Yes, I used to do trick shots. We used to do check side kicks, and certainly Neil Craig was one, and also Michael Aish was the other player I used to have. We used to go into the pocket after training and we'd do check side kicks and round the corner kicks. We'd play for 20 cents. And I reckon you're right, Neil Craig still owes me a few dollars.
When's he going to pay up?
I don't think I'll ever see it.
I hear a story that your very first game was a special day, not only for you, but for your brother. Don't want to fill me in about maybe taking a little something from Big Bro, do you? Like maybe his spot in the team?
Yeah, well, my first game of seconds, I took my brother's place because he had a sore ankle. And then next week he was coming back into the reserve, so I thought, oh, I'll go back to the under-19s, but I actually went up into the league side. And the unfortunate thing, Liam, at Norwood, my two older brothers played at Norwood as well, but we never ever played, the three of us, in the same team, whether it be reserves or league. We never played three of us. Two of us played, but never three of us together. So that was always a bit of a disappointment.
You were part of two grand final wins, 1975 and 1978, which must have been amazing, considering it has been a while since the last premiership. I know the 1975 was your favourite, because it was the first for ages, but it's the 1978 game against Sturt I want to talk about. I want to start by saying I watched the last 5 minutes on YouTube and I was nervous and I knew the result. On that game, just to relive the game for any Sturt fan who is still getting counselling, Gallagher got a free to put you in front. Wasn't a free, was it, Roger? Well, it was, because it won you the game, but it really wasn't, was it?
Well, actually, it wasn't a free kick at all. The umpire paid a mark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he paid a mark, and a lot of people said it was a free kick. All the Sturt supporters said umpire Foster paid a free kick, but he actually paid a mark. Unfortunately, the ball bounced and hit the ground, but the umpire couldn't see that, so all he could do, and so many players in the area, the umpire could do was pay the mark.
Yeah.
So he never paid a free kick, he paid the mark, which a lot of Sturt people to this day still don't understand.
I listened to your interview with KG when you told him you had a cast on your leg and he asked if you were hobbling around. Come on, KG, I love you, but what did you think he'd be walking like?
Well, KG, he asked some funny questions sometimes,
Yeah.
and that certainly was one of them. Man, my cast was from my groin to my ankle. There was no way I was going to walk properly, was I?
Nah. Unfortunately, in 1881, you blew out your knee. That must have been a hard time, considering you were already thinking of retiring.
Yes, Liam, I think that the knee injury that I did, I suffered what they call an ACL injury, anterior cruciate ligament. I snapped that in half, and I was 31 then, and back those days, or even today, it's a whole year to get right. I was just about finished my footy career by doing my knee, and that made a decision for me, made it easy for me.
Yeah. Now, everyone who loves footy loves a good yarn. I heard that Patrick Keane, the AFL's number 2 man, rates you as his favourite player. I also heard you gave him a sock and he gave you AFL Grand Final ticket. Can you tell him I'll give him a pair of socks if he takes me next year?
Not a bad return, is it? Smelly old sock, 40 years old, and I get 4 grand final tickets. I
Yeah.
thought that was a pretty good trade.
Yeah,
I reckon I
think
did well
so
there.
too. Yeah. I've asked older people about interesting players in the 70s and 80s, so really quickly describe these following players. Graham Corns.
Great marking ability, Larry.
Gary McIntosh.
Probably the hardest player Norwood Football Club have ever had, and probably the state.
Russell Ebert.
Tremendous player and a wonderful person.
David Granger.
You come up with some good names here. Dangerous.
KG Cunningham.
Interesting.
Barry Robran.
The best footballer ever.
Malcolm Blight.
Just behind Barry Robin.
Michael Aish.
One of the great players for Norwood and is now inducted as a legend, along with Gary McIntosh.
Roger, I can't thank you enough for doing me a favour of interviewing you. My pa thought so highly of you for the footballer you were and the way you handled yourself on the field. I think so highly of you for the guy you are off the field. I'm sure my pa would be looking down with a smile right now. Oh, just before we go, my dad said to say that he is a better footy tipper than you. This has been LJ and you have been watching Roger Woodcock go into the fire with me.
Thanks, Liam.
It's been a year since you passed away, Pa, and every day I miss you. I may not be here, but I will always remember our time together. I know you'll look down and smile. You always said I'd be something special, and I'm trying, Pa. Hope you're proud of me, always thinking of you.